Hello everyone, and welcome to the GKaiser Age. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite franchises and character, Godzilla. Ever since I was a kid, Godzilla was my favorite kaiju or giant monster, and even now, he remains the king of all monsters in my eyes. Godzilla has been a powerful presence on the screen, and for the past 64 years, Godzilla has existed in movies, books, games, and action figures. So let's dive into the GKaiser Age of Godzilla and see why he has and always will remain the king of all monsters. Ever since I was a kid, I loved Godzilla. He was for me an indestructible force of nature, a powerful monster that nothing could stand against. Godzilla has been depicted as everything from a natural disaster given a physical monstrous form, to a friend of humanity, a raging beast of destruction, and so much more. This is what makes Godzilla so entertaining. It's the variety of errors that his character has gone through, changing his very nature, shape, and powers. But in the end, he always stands out as the king of all monsters. Except that 1998 Godzilla movie. I don't like to think about that attempt to recreate Godzilla. Now, while I am a fan of all the generations of Godzilla, I am more familiar and enjoy greatly the movies going forward from the 1984 film, The Return of Godzilla. That movie is the one that really engaged my love for Godzilla, and in my younger years, I enjoyed watching mostly my VHS copy of Godzilla vs. Megalon and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from the original older era. But after the return of Godzilla, or should I say, the US version Godzilla 1984 that I had on VHS as well, I came to appreciate the more serious themed Godzilla movies. As you can see, I have a pretty large collection of all the most current Godzilla movies, from the return of Godzilla to Shin Godzilla, and I am looking forward to getting the Blu-ray of Godzilla Planet of the Monsters when that is released. Godzilla's look is classic, and his roar even more so. The roar of Godzilla is unlike anything I have ever heard and truly invokes how powerful a monster he is, and it's also an expression of his intense presence. Godzilla's origins vary just as much as his movies, but in nearly all of them it involves radioactive material having forced Godzilla to evolve into the form most recognized. Godzilla's massive body is covered in a rough, darkened skin. He has massive bone-like spiked plates running down his back and fearsome eyes that show a predatory intelligence behind them. All of these elements combine for an awesome-looking giant monster, and his look has only grown even more amazing as the movies go on. Though I have to say my personal favorite has to be the Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Biollante. Of course, the other iconic thing Godzilla is known for is his atomic or nuclear breath, depending on the era. A blast of energy that has destroyed many foes over several decades, and is just as awesome to see when his spinal plates start to glow right before he unleashes the massive attack and devastates any foe standing before him. Now, let's check out some rare Godzilla books, starting with the novels written by Mark Cerasani. These books were written starting back in 1996, and they take elements from several of the Heisei period Godzilla movies, combining them into a whole new stories. His writing is very solid, and he has a firm grasp of balance between the human characters and the monsters. He brings the action and excitement of the Godzilla movies into novel form, and it's just a pleasure to read. In these novels, you will see familiar monsters and mecha, from Anguirus to Mechagodzilla and more. And the story moves from book to book, making for a cohesive series of events. Mark does an excellent job of adding every detail he can about the monster's powers and abilities, military craft, tactics, along with the human casualties that come from the monster attacks, even Godzilla's own attacks. If you can find these in paperback or digital, I highly recommend giving them a read, as they really detail a lot of amazing characters and monsters, getting into depths that normally aren't explored with the movies themselves. Another awesome book I have that is very rare, and I only got lucky finding one a long time ago in a bargain bin at a convention, is the official Godzilla Compendium. It is a fantastic book that details the Godzilla movie series from the original in 1954 to the latest one released at the time of the book's printing, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. It has everything from plot synopsis to detailed information about the monsters of the Godzilla series and the movies that they starred in. It is a mixture of color and black and white pages, and full of all sorts of information on the Godzilla actors, directors, music producers, and more of the people that were involved with the making of the movies. At the end of the book, you get some amazing pages detailing the different monsters and even a Godzilla family chart showing the different era of Godzillas and their different sizes. So you get to see every Godzilla that was in all the eras, starting all the way back from 1954 to the most current one at the time of that printing, which was of course the Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. If you can find a copy of the official Godzilla Compendium, grab it, because it is an awesome book to have if you love Godzilla movies. And finally, we have the amazing S.H.Monsterarts Godzilla 2000 Millennium figure from Bandai Tamashii Nations. The S.H.Monsterarts figure line is a fantastic line, and this figure is no exception. It has extreme posability and details that allow you to recreate nearly any scene from the Godzilla 2000 movie that this figure is based off. Now, this is a special color version that I'm holding, as the spine plate color in the movie was actually tinted purple, but I actually prefer the more classic slate gray style coloring. There are several ball joints and multiple joint points throughout the figure, as you can see here, especially on the neck and tail along with the arms. That's what gives this figure such an amazing range of movement and posability. The arms have several joints, as you can see, that help with the posing, and while the head has only a slight upwards bend, it has great left to right movement along with the downwards bend that makes it easy to pose for a more fearsome look. The legs have an excellent range of movement on the figure, making it very easy to pose him in several various ways, with the feet able to tilt and swivel, giving the figure great balance. I love the sculpted texture on the figure and the details they put into the claws and fangs. They even put in a tongue in the mouth so you can move it around slightly when you open the jaw. But this detail on the claws and the fangs on the figure is just phenomenal, with little accents on it that really help to give it that colored, gnarled kind of look on. The tail is very long and nearly every segment on it is a ball joint that helps make it very flexible, though you have to be careful because some of the ball joints can pop out of the socket when moving it too far. So, as you can see from the Blu-ray that I'm holding here of Godzilla 2000, this figure does an amazing job of replicating the look and feel of Godzilla from that movie. I love the movie and I love this figure a lot, and you guys should definitely pick one up if you can find it. You might be able to find one of these figures online at eBay or Amazon, but you can definitely find more S.H.Monsterarts figures on the Big Bad Toy Store website or HobbyLink Japan's website. So definitely check them out because they have awesome amounts of different monsters and of course different incarnations of Godzillas on their site. Just for size comparison, I used a super dimensional time and space system to summon up a Jaeger from Pacific Rim 2, the Gypsy Avenger. As you can see, these two look great together, and now it's time for a showdown between them, and my money is always going to be on the king of all monsters. Thank you all for joining me here in the GKaiser Age. Expect more Godzilla content as I talk about the movies of the Heisei era and beyond. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, then hit that bell icon to know when I have new content up. Also, check out my Twitter page that I'll have linked below. This is G-Force Commander Lucien GKaiser signing out.